I'll play the cold open about Maricopa County. I'll get back into the Ukraine a little while, but Ben Bergquam's got to bounce here shortly. Let's play the cold open and bring Ben in.
So I want to go back to the earlier question about the 19-inch ballot image being placed on a 20-inch paper. Did you hear of any reports of that occurring in the 2022 general election?
I did not.
Okay.
What I recall from yesterday's questioning was that there was a 19-inch definition, which that did not occur, ballot definition.
So if your testimony reflects my question, or strike that, if the back and forth between our question and answer shows me asking you specifically about a 19-inch ballot image being printed on a 20-inch piece of paper, you are now saying that you interpreted that as a ballot definition issue?
Yes, that's correct.
And you wouldn't think it would be relevant, even in that circumstance, to say, hey, we learned about this fit to print issue. Did you know about when did you learn about this fit to print issue?
When we started doing the audit reconciliation of those DOR 3 ballots, we identified some of those ballots had then a fit to paper issue.
And when was that?
I don't remember the exact dates, but a few days after Election Day.
Does that mean you lied in 2020 during the audit? Does that mean you lied about the 2020 election issues?
Was it a lie of omission or commission?
Scott, why are you running from us? You were so brazen on the stand in there. Why are you running?
Scott, did you know the question yesterday? Were you coached by legal counsel to tell the truth today?
Scott, how do you boldly lie like that? Scott Jarrett, what's going on?
No answer.
No answer. Here with Ben Bergquam from Real America's Voice. This is Jordan Conradson with the Gateway Pundit.
Yeah, Scott Jarrett,
Elections Director of Maricopa County.
Running from the answer. On the court, on the stand. Sorry, catching my breath. The guy tried to hide. We caught up with him.
He actually, we were walking out of the building. He ran away from us.
Yeah, he tried to run the other way.
Like, I'm not leaving.
And then realized there's only one way out. Right. So this is the same thing though. Katie Hobbs, she's running. They don't want to answer the question.
Katie Hobbs was supposed to show up today, wasn't
Katie
she?
Hobbs was supposed to. Well, Bill Gates, it's the same thing. Stephen Richer, none of them. They're a bunch of cowards.
They are.
They won't answer the questions.
Right, Stephen Richter's in Panama. What's he doing there?
Probably
the country?
Helping illegals.
That's right.
Come up through the Darien Gap, invade our country. Now that, if Katie Hobbs, if they get the steel,
exactly.
The state of Arizona will be owned by the cartel. So
that's right. That's why Doug Ducey's taking down the
shame on Ducey
right now.
Shame on Ducey.
Well, what a day. Back to the courtroom, right?
Back to the courtroom. Real news, baby. Let's go.
Okay, we're bringing in Ben Bergquam now. Tell our audience, maybe those that didn't get into the details, Scott Jarrett, what he said. Did he perjure himself? Is that the claim that you and Jordan Conradson at Gateway Pundit are making, Ben Bergquam?
Yeah, it's even worse than that, Steve. He not only perjured himself, he admitted yesterday, which was breaking news, that not only did this happen in 2020, well, let me back up first. Day one, he was asked by Kurt Olson, what would you say if you heard that 19-inch ballot images were printed on 20-inch ballots? And he said that wouldn't happen, that couldn't happen. And later on, he said it would have been a failure. He was asked, followed up, would that be a failure by Maricopa elections? And he said, well, that would be a mistake, but it wouldn't happen. It couldn't happen. Day two, clearly he had been coached. He came in and started talking about these fit to print, shrink to fit, fit to page, all these different terms, basically saying and the excuse for why this happened, the thing that he said couldn't have happened the day before. And then at the end of his testimony, he said, oh, yeah, and by the way, it happened in 2020 in the general election and in the primary, which they had not admitted until yesterday. So clearly they knew this was a problem. So it's even worse than perjuring himself day one. This is a cover-up.
Well, tell us why this is a big deal, and then tell us your general thoughts of where you think we stand. The judge has got he's going, I'm sure, through the trial transcripts right now to come to his decision. I happen to think he'll make it the day before Christmas. I don't think he'll kick it in and wait until next week. He might. He's got 5 days. But I think I would be very surprised if he didn't make it this afternoon. What are your thoughts about the trial overall?
Well, the reason it's important is this was they had to prove that it was intentional, that the changes, that the fiasco, that the disaster that we saw on November 8th was intentional with the printers, the tabulators. And what this proves is it was intentional. Now, whether there was malice behind it, it took somebody doing that fit to print, shrink to fit, whatever term you want to use, onto those ballots. It means somebody did it. Again, that shows intent. The other thing that's key to this is at the end of the trial yesterday, even the defense team, even the attorneys for Maricopa County said, well, even if Runbeck, on a separate topic, even if Runbeck allowed their employees to insert ballots into the system, well, that really didn't matter as long as they were legal ballots. Well, the whole point is if they didn't go through the chain of custody, and that was the second count, if they didn't go through the chain of custody, those are invalid ballots. So there were two really critical points that were brought up yesterday, that were proven yesterday, I believe, and throughout the last 2 days. Really now, though, it comes down to the judge, as you mentioned. The one thing that wasn't included in this would have been the icing on the cake, the signature verification. I think either way, this thing's going to the state Supreme Court and then ultimately to the federal Supreme Court. And it's up to the judge. From what I've seen as a layman watching this, there's no question about it. The election was stolen. What happened on November 8th, there's no way you can certify that election with the disaster of what happened on November 8th. I think the judge knows that as well. The question is, with the death threats that he's been receiving and everything else, will he be the first judge in America to have the courage to stand up and say what every other American knows, that the Democrats have been stealing elections? And I think you're probably right. He has 5 days. I think it'll be sooner than that. And Terry's just praying that he makes the right decision.
We'll take a short break. Ben Bergquam next.